Hello everyone. Today we are going to review the second season. I don't know, I threw out a peace sign. There you go. That's how we're starting this video now. Yeah. Yeah. So season 2 of Screen Queens. So there are obviously some of the cast members from the first season and some appearances which I found which I actually forgot about, which is kind of funny. So obviously we have our Chanel's returning, Emma Roberts, Chanel Oberlin, Leah Michelle played Hester Ulrich, who was one of the Chanels as well, Abigail Breslin, Chanel number 5, Kiki Palmer, Zayday Williams, Billy Lord, Chanel number 3, Jamie Lee Curtis returned. She was Dr. Munch in this one though, because they're running the hospital, which is kind of funny. Yeah, Riley Schmidt, who played the Green Meanie, or I guess, yeah. And Glenn Powell, who played Chad Radwell. We had Oliver Hudson, who played Wes Gardner. Niecy Nash, who played Denise Hemphill. Then we had our new cast was Kirstie Alley, who played Ingrid Hoffel. Taylor Lautner, who played Dr. Cassidy Cascade. Holy crap. James Earl, who played Chamberlain Jackson. John Stamos, who played Dr. Brock Holt. And then we had... Who was the mother? Was it her? I can't remember who the mother was. So, anyway, this one starts out in 1986, was it? Was it 1986 or 1988? One of those 2 years. I know that much. And so, there's obviously this hospital. Now, I can't remember the original name for it, whether it was still the Cure Institute, like Munch named it, or whether it was something else. But anyway, there's this guy dying, and obviously there's this whole Halloween party going on. The wife's begging these 2 doctors to save him, and they don't. They just end up throwing his dead body in the swamp, and then I guess he comes back. They believe he comes back to life and kills them all, I guess, at this party, and then a year later the same thing happens, and it seems to be continuously happening, I guess, in this hospital. It's kind of like supposed to be, I guess, maybe haunted in a sense. So we actually have 3 people who are the Green Meanies, even though it's only played by one person. But the 3 Green Meanies in this season are Wes Gardner, and then we have Cassidy Cascade and Ingrid Hoffel, who are all trying to kill certain people to, I guess, shut down the hospital, because we find out this, so it's similar to the first season where we had the baby in the bathtub, but this season it's just the baby in the belly instead. And yeah, we find out that obviously the baby is Cassidy Cascade after a certain period of time, and Chanel number 3 and him end up falling in love, which is funny, and she's trying to get him to stop killing people, but he ends up choosing his mother in the end. And then at the very end of the season, he ends up saving Chanel from Ingrid Hoffel, who, by the way, was Miss Bean's sister from the first season, which is why she is trying to kill all the Chanels, especially Chanel Oberlin. And then we have Hester, who won't tell us who the killer is, so they end up releasing her from the insane asylum and putting her in the basement of the hospital. And then eventually they let her out of there. And also, who else returned from oh yeah, Niecy Nash, or yeah, Denise Hemphill ends up letting her out of there. And then at one point Denise gets attacked, and she ends up being put in this cryogenic chamber that Munch has built. And oh my god, this episode, or yeah, this season's just so goofy. And then at the very end, so the whole reason Munch did this hospital, obviously, because the university went horribly wrong. with the whole Red Devil attacks and stuff, right? So now she's trying to be the face of new feminism, and she's trying to, I guess, I don't want to say like revamp. I guess not revamp, but like kind of put redemption to her name, I guess, with this hospital and trying to cure the uncurable. So they do actually cure a couple people, but everybody they end up curing ends up getting killed before they can even leave the hospital. So yeah, their plan is not working out the way they thought it was going to. And then obviously when Wes comes back into the picture, there's this battle between Chanel and Munch for Dr. Brock Holt, who is the main doctor in the hospital, who is played by John Stamos, right? I think I might have already said that. So they do have these people come in, and I guess, is it like health people, like doing a health check on the hospital or whatever? I guess just to see if everybody is actually a real doctor and everything is up to par, right? So yeah, it was just funny that the Chanels didn't realize what what Ingrid Hoffel was trying to do the entire time, because she's filling the whole thing with fry oil. And then it was kind of the death scene of Grace's father, Wes, was kind of weird, because he just gets backed up into this corner with the fry oil and he goes, "Oh, you guys are going to kill me," and just dunks himself into it anyway. And then at the end, it seems that Hoffel ends up just dying in the swamp, which is probably what she was going to end up doing with all the Chanels anyway. Because, yeah, she was going to blow them up, I guess, by making a bomb out of the waste from the swamp, I think, was how she did it. And I guess, yeah, it was a big bomb. And then Denise somehow gets out of the cryo chamber and is able to defuse the bomb. So, yeah, her plan didn't work. And then Cassidy Cascade ends up saving Chanel number 3 at the end of the show. And I guess Chanel got her dream of being a TV doctor after the other TV doctor was killed. And they tried doing this blood drive, and they were all more helpful in this season. It just seemed to be like every time they tried to be helpful, the person that they helped ended up dying, thanks to having 3 different people in the same costume and not knowing who was killing who, right? So, yeah, things did not work out well for the killers here, because they all they all died. All 3 green meanies ended up dying in the end of the show, so kind of funny to think about that, yeah, but, and then Chanel's trying to make the excuse that because she's pretty, that was the reason she's alive, I guess. Pretty and ruthless is what she said, so, yeah, that was kind of funny. But I would say she just got plain lucky in most scenarios, because she could have easily died, but, yeah, I mean, Hoffel could have easily just thrown her in a fried oil right away, but she tries to coerce her into it by saying, "Oh, it'll really help with your skin." She goes, "No, I'm good." Not even knowing that, yeah, why would you be filling a whole hot tub full of fry oil? It's just kind of funny. That, yeah, the Chanels weren't the smartest, except for Chanel number 5, who actually ended up passing the, I believe they called it the MCAT test. She passed it without cheating, so it turns out she's actually smart, but everybody just kind of rags on her the most, yeah, which is funny, because she's actually the only one with a proper, yeah, like, she's the only one who's actually smart out of the 3 of them, so it's kind of funny that everybody just disregards her, or doesn't care what happens to her, so, there you go. So yeah, I would say, I think I liked this season maybe a little bit better, and then at the very end, when Chanel's leaving her, she's become a TV doctor, she's running the show that used to be known, I think it was All About the D, and now it's All About the C, because it's Chanel Oberlin playing it, and she has Chanel number 3 as her executive producer. And then Chanel number 5 and Zayday are working in the hospital, keeping it running. And Hester ends up taking all of Dean Munch's money. And then her and Dr. Brock Holt end up going to Blood Island, which was what Hoffel ended up promising them if they won this blood drive thing. And that's when the competition between Chanel and Munch starts for Dr. Brock Holt. I would say Chanel kind of won that one once Wes came back into the picture because, yeah, I guess Munch and Wes kind of fell in love again for a little bit, and then she was back with Brock after Wes died. So it was just, yeah, it was just kind of a mess of a competition between the two of them for the same guy. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so yeah, Hester and Brock end up going to Blood Island, and they have this, I guess, kind of competition between the two of them, where they have people come onto the island and they hunt them down to kill them. I guess that was their all-time fantasy vacation destination, or whatever they're going to continue doing there. And then at the very end, when Chanel gets into her car, she sees this little Kappa Kappa Tau pin, and then when she looks in the rearview mirror, the Red Devil's right behind her. So it did leave an opening for a third season, but unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to get one, because this show was only from 2015 to 2016, I do believe. Yeah, unfortunately. They're, who knows, maybe they will come back and do a third season of it, I don't know. It would be cool to see a third season, I think. But, yeah, that was quite a while ago, so I don't know if they would ever revisit this, but I mean, maybe if it gets enough views now, that maybe more people know about it. Because it kind of seems to be one of those shows of just kind of hidden within Netflix, because I don't even think I knew about it when it first came out. So yeah, I can't remember what year I watched it first. It might have been in 2018 when I watched it first, so a couple of years after I guess the show ended. But yeah, it was only 23 episodes, because the first season was 13 and the second season was 10. But I think I like this season a little bit better, so I'm going to give this season a 9 out of 10. Now, I can't remember what I rated the first season, so maybe I ended up rating the first season higher. If I did, I guess I did. But the show altogether as a whole, I gave it a 10 out of 10, and I still stand by that. So, yeah, I think that's it for this review, and I will see you guys in season 5 of Van Helsing, because that's what I think is going to be after this, and the Batman and all that other good stuff. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.